welcome to Lessons Learned. I'm Sherry, and this is Monday Quilt Chat. I'm going to tell you right off the bat that this is going to be a little bit of a short one for two reasons. One, it's a very busy week for many people. There may not be too much sewing going on in some households. I still plan to do my sewing like normal, but you may be off work extra days and things like that you may be able to sneak in some sewing. I hope you can. Otherwise, you're preparing for family to come in, and maybe you're spiffing up the house and just have lots and lots to do on the old to-do list. So I'm not going to spend too much of your time this morning. I'm going to get this week started off and get things on a good path for sewing. But if that's not in the cards this week, totally understand. So we'll talk about a few things. I will be having a Wednesday video and a Friday video this week as normal, but also they will be something, not so long and involved and things where you have to really, really think. So we'll just give you what we got from over here and keep the videos on the schedule like normal. This past weekend, I usually start off telling you what I did over the weekend as far as sewing goes, and I have a few things that I did. I did not do a long arm video this weekend, or not a video, but a long arm project. I did not put anything on the long arm this weekend. Just needed a little bit of a break on that. I'll probably put something on this evening and work on that on Tuesday or Wednesday. And then I was a little bit behind on blockheads 6. I had 2 blocks to do on that. I got one of them done. Let me show you. And this one's called Crisscross Applesauce. Guess you could turn it on point or like this. Either way, you've got crisscross. 2 crosses there that cross each other. Crisscross Applesauce. I'm still using my tilde, and we'll talk about the remnants of the tilde here in just a minute. So that turned out nice and pretty accurate. I like how it came together. Everything fit together well. This one used some pretty big pieces. I've been telling you that, wow, I'm getting kind of low on pieces of tilde. Here's the other one that I don't have. I don't know what this is. Why is this here? I think that's one of my scraps. I have one ready to do. I forget what this one is called, but it's the last one. But interestingly, it probably used some of the biggest pieces yet. So I really was digging and reaching, trying to get pieces that would work. There were several 5.5-inch squares, and you can see I had to piece some of them. Look at this one. That's all I could do. I didn't have anything that would work color-wise with the design of the block to be able to get those 5.5-inch squares. So I think a part of these will get cut off, so some of that piecing will go away and everything. Yeah, I didn't have to do that to any of the other ones here, but it will be interesting to see how this goes together because I had to just use what was left that I had enough of. I'll get that put together today, and then that means blockhead 6 is done. As far as the blocks go, I'm going to have to figure out some way to put those together. I'm not using any sort of pattern design that's out there that I've seen. I started out making 2 blocks of each, so I have 2 extra blocks. I don't know if those are going to fit into the mix anywhere, but I'm going to have to figure out some way to get all of these blocks into some sort of quilt. I think this one isn't the biggest one. This one might serve me well down in a corner or something. There's a bigger one in the mix that probably will go in the center, and then all the smaller blocks around it. And there's a lot of blocks that are just like, I think 8.5 or 9, I forget. A bunch of those were small blocks that we did, if you remember. If you've done this with me, then you know what I'm talking about. But there's just a whole bunch of different sizes of blocks. And early on, I decided, look, I'm not going to make 2 of each. I'm just not going to do it. I'll just think up some other way to put them together to make a quilt. There's plenty there that, you know, I can get a decent sized square or some size, maybe up to like a 60-inch square or something like that. Plus I wanted to show you what I have left over. This is what I have left over of the background. And this is not Tilda. This is just something that kind of looks like Tilda that I had. So I have these pieces right here, which is not much left. I have some tiny pieces in a bag, like cut-offs of it, but the only piece I have left is looks like about a 10-inch by width of fabric. So the piece of fabric that I started out with, according to what fabric requirements they gave in the beginning, was short by about a half a yard, but somehow through it all I managed to come out with it almost like I was going to say a quarter yard, but probably more like a 10 to 12, might be a third of a yard. I don't have a measurer here. Let's see. It's the size of that piece of paper, so 11.5 inches by width of fabric is all I have left of that, plus these pieces here, which could still be used for something. Here's what I have left of Tilda Sanctuary. And I know it kind of looks like a lot, and there is maybe 2 full fat quarters I didn't use that the colors just would not fit in. Like this one, I think that's a full fat quarter. It was just too light against my background that I was using. It was too much alike that I didn't want to throw that in the mix. So I did not use that one. And then I think there's one green one that I didn't use, and it might be because I really like that, and it has the little sleeping mice on it, and I think I was just kind of secretly keeping that so that I could use it on something else. But everything else is probably less than a 5-inch square. It looks like a lot, like there would be a lot in there, but it's little strips and, you know, squares that have odd pieces cut out of them. It's not that much. Probably in my hand, what is that? Maybe 6 fat quarters? But it's in a whole bunch of pieces other than those 2 I mentioned. So I'm going to have to decide if I want to start a Tilda bin, because I have 2 other lines of theirs that came out, and all of the chambrays. I have a 1 yard of all the chambray colors. So I kind of need a place for that. It's in with new fabric right now, but I'm thinking about taking the bin from the blockheads and just making that into a Tilda bin. So we'll see. I don't know if I'll be purchasing more Tilda in the future, but I've probably got enough right now that it would merit its own bin. So that might be a possibility. These little scraps here, like I said, they're the cut-offs. I might hang on to this for a little while until we do our mini quilts next year. I might look and see what's in here and see if there's anything I can use for a mini quilt. If not, these will go in the Lucy bin. And probably once I process a lot of this, it might too. I don't know. So look out, Lucy. You might be getting a little bit of, or a lot of bit, of Tilda in your scraps that I send. Okay, Jolly Bar book number 5, the sampler quilt along. We are on, let's see, November 19th was the last one. We have 2 more left, and that one will wind up, and it'll be done by December 31st. So this one and the blockheads will be over by the end of the year. I had 2 weeks worth to do. I had November the 5th to do and November 19th. I did get those this weekend. Here is I love this block. I don't know, and there again, I'm running out of fabric. But this one just turned out really good, don't you think? How the fabric pieces just kind of fade across into light down on that lower part down here. That looks pretty good. I like to have that as a mini quilt. So that was the second to last one. It was called Timberland Roses. And then the next week, which was November 19th, or this past week, we had 4 to do. And it was, they're called Variations blocks. And they look like this. And I did them, did I do them all the same? I think I managed to do them all the same. Yes, I did. So these will be spread out amongst all the other blocks. Maybe they're corner pieces of the quilt. I forget. I don't have that page out here where you can see that. But interestingly, this block is the same thing, or actually I'm saying it kind of backwards. These little blocks are actually the same thing as a quarter of this block. So if you haven't made yours yet, just go ahead and make 4 extra and don't sew them together. So it's kind of like making 2 of these blocks, but not sewing the 4 pieces together for this one. So I have that. The next one is a Windflower block and an XOXO block. I'll be doing those from the book. And I also did some more of my work on, let's see here, is this the one I just got done? I think this is the one I just got done. Needs another press. I told you I got that done last week, but I didn't have it to show you. So I have this done. Now some of you, I think the question has come up a few times now, and I have been answering as I go along, but in case some of you don't have the capacity or the ability because you watch the videos on your television to comment, and you don't want to go back in on your computer to comment, maybe you have in your mind the question of how do I prepare these for the embroidery. And as you can see, I have put a fusible on the back, and then I also took a little stitch all the way around the edge. Let me show you some that I prepared. I got 4 more prepared for future pieces of this quilt. Let's see here. Here's a good one. So here's one that I've prepared, okay? So originally we have a panel of 20, and you can cut them 8.5-inch square if you're very careful. And yes, we will be cutting down a little bit more to get the final size I use for the setting for this. But here is the Pellon. Let me see if I can say this right. It's called P44F. I think some of you, I said PF44, but because SF101. But in this case, it's P44F. So I fuse a piece of that on the back. It's very lightweight fusible interfacing. And you can use lighter than that. I have some that's lighter that I could actually use. But I kind of like the very subtle stiffness of this so that I don't have to use a hoop. It's really nice. And then right around the edges, you can see I just put a small stitch all the way around. And you know, I'm still going to get some of this, but that stitch will keep it from going any farther than that. And it's like a 1/16 of an inch, like an 1/8 to a 1/16 of an inch from the edge. And that way I won't lose any of the bigger part of my block that I'm going to need for it to put into the quilt. So I did 4 more of those. 2, 3, did this one. I'm going to do that one. I'm going to do this one, and this one. So I got that all ready, and I'll put those in my bag here so that when I get ready to do it, I've got it all together. And pretty soon I need to really start looking now to see, you know, if I need to get some more thread, because I have used all of one color, and another color or two is getting low. So I need to look into that so that I can stay stocked up on that. And would like to get started on that Valdani thread project with the Primitive Gatherings, Pumpkin Gatherings block soon, or panel. So it's still in there. I have not started on it yet. Splendid. I have on the cutting table right now. I'm going to cut that out today. May not start on the sewing, but I will definitely get everything getting cut and ready on a board. What's going to happen, I don't think, do I have another board? I've got these blocks, the Designer Mystery, on a board already, and I hate to take that apart because everything's on there and labeled the way I need it, and you know, we're going to have several more of these. But the Autumn Wedding, I think I can get that into a bin now that I've got those pieces together over there. I think I can get that one into a bin and use that board for this. I have another smaller board I could use. I don't know, I just don't want to have a whole ton of boards with stuff on it, because before long they'll get shuffled and dropped and destroyed, and it'll be like starting over again, and I am not doing that. Yes, I also would like to get into this week too, maybe. See, I get a little over ambitious of what I'm going to do in a week's time, but that's kind of what's near the more forefront in my brain right now. So I think I will probably be doing some of those things this week, along with a long arm finish, I hope. I think I did not have any, what is it called? Recent acquisitions. I have some things on the way, but two are coming today. One is coming Wednesday. I think one is the Sew Sampler box. Yeah, so you'll see those next week. Not the Sew Sampler box. You might see the Sew Sampler box next week, because the 30th is going to be on the weekend, right? So I'll be showing you that on Monday. I know there's already people out there showing it. So I'm checking my things that I did this past week. I think I've talked about everything on here. Yes. Let's do the art quilt of the week, and I will be putting a picture right here for you. It's called Baltimore Autumn. Love this. It's 70 by 70. And it's by Marilla Schmidt of Cottage Grove, Minnesota. It says, using a pattern by Pearl Pereira, Marilla made this quilt with mixed batiks and cottons and custom quilting. Even though creating the quilt wasn't too difficult for Marilla, it did become time-consuming. Marlene Hiltner did the quilting for this quilt, and this quilt has been shown at several shows, including the Minnesota Quilt Show and Minnesota State Fair. It's very, very detailed, isn't it? And everything fall there. Everything fall. We have the scarecrows and the raven, the pumpkins, the acorns, sunflowers, more pumpkins and crows, a squirrel. And then, of course, leaves and berries and oak leaves. Very, very pretty. Everything fall. Baltimore Autumn. And it's probably called Baltimore Autumn because it has that Baltimore album style to it, with all the different applique blocks all around the center large block. Look at that squirrel up in the corner on the top of the inner border. Isn't that cute? I love this. It's very cute. Very, very cute. Speaking of cute, Blue's not in here with me today, so maybe I'll include a picture of him at the end of the video. We'll see what let's see what the latest one on the camera reel is, and we'll put it on there so you can get a good look at Mr. Blue today. He is asleep in the house, and he was all warm and cuddly. He probably would have loved to have come out here, but it's dark outside right now. It's Sunday for me, and already past dark time, and so I didn't want to, let him out into the dark, and I had things in my hands, and yes, I could have got the leash, but I don't know. That's my excuse for right now. It was just better for him to stay in the house. So I hope you understand about that. And then, let's see, I'll be back here on Wednesday. No idea whatsoever what the video will be. Like I said, I'll try to make it something brief, something easy, something, I don't know if I'll be making something or talking about something, or I don't know. I have no idea. We'll see. All right. Have a great week. Enjoy yourselves with your family and with your time off. That's very important these days, to be close to our loved ones and our spiritual families as well. And I wish you a very nice week, and I will see you on Wednesday and Friday, and back around here next Monday, getting ready to start December. Wow. The year has gone by, hasn't it? All right, we'll see you soon. Have a great one. Bye.